We've all been in the situation where we find ourselves doing something against our express goal for ourselves, or for our family, or for a job. And we end up wondering, like, why am I sabotaging my own success? Well, today I want to talk about the 5 reasons that I see the most often that we self-sabotage, and then we're going to talk about what you can do about it. So stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give you some solutions. Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. I make these videos because I want you to focus on solving your mental and physical health so that you can live your happiest life. Today we're talking about those 5 reasons that we self-sabotage. And the first one is actually the one that most people don't think they're doing because it seems too obvious to be a reason. It's the devil you know. That idea that I'm comfortable doing this thing and I know the results of doing this thing, whether the result is I know the result of how I feel after I've eaten something, whether the result is I know the result of what happens if I engage versus don't engage an argument with my spouse. So because I know what will happen and I'm comfortable with the outcome that I've created for myself, I just keep doing that thing, even if it's not solving the problem. I feel like we've all lived this on some level or another. For example, with myself, I ate a lot of fast food, and I don't mean restaurant fast food. I mean processed from the freezer to the oven to the plate food before realizing what carbohydrates were doing in my life. And why did I do that? I knew those foods weren't healthy. Like, I can't even pretend that I thought they were healthy. I did it because it was easy, and I did it because I knew that I would be full and I would be able to go on with my day, and I didn't have to put a lot of energy into the meal because honestly, I don't like cooking that much, even though I know how to cook. I'm not interested in it. So doing the thing that we know and we know the outcome from, even if the outcome is not what we want, is one of the major reasons that we sabotage ourselves. Another one that I see in my office is I don't deserve to be happy. It's not something that we actively say to ourselves until we're asked the question. And then I will hear things like, well, I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't think I was good enough for that. So basically the underlying idea is that I'm deciding before I even try to accomplish this goal that the goal's not attainable because I don't deserve that type of, whether it's happiness, success, family life. There's something that's causing me to believe that that won't happen for me and I don't deserve it to happen to me. And so therefore, I only put half-hearted effort into making it happen for me. A third reason that we often sabotage ourselves is because we think we deserve a reward. And then we choose rewards that are against our stated goal. And of course, this comes down to another idea that's very, very, very common, which is everybody else gets to celebrate with this. So why can't I get to celebrate with this? And because everybody else celebrates with this, this is the right way to celebrate. And so therefore, since I'm celebrating, I'm going to celebrate with this. Now, sometimes that celebration is putting you so far off track. For example, if what I really want is to purchase a house, and I'm saving and saving and saving towards purchasing a house. And I'm being really good with my money. And I'm not splurging on fast food restaurants. If I'm not splurging on toys, gadgets and watches and stuff. And I'm really being good and I'm saving money. And then next thing you know, I look in the bank account and I've got $10,000 towards my house. And all of a sudden I decide I've been so good, I deserve a vacation. Well, pulling $3,000 out of that $10,000 is actually against my goal because my goal is I want to buy a house. But the idea being I deserve a reward. And when people work really hard, what kind of rewards do they give themselves? Well, they normally give themselves a fantastic vacation. Okay, again, there's a mixture of I want to be like everybody else and be able to do what everybody else is doing and not seeing how my actions are going to affect what I'm trying to accomplish. Tied a little bit to I don't deserve to be happy and I deserve a reward. So these three kind of are related because they have this idea of deserving something in it. The third one I'm going to call a misrepresentation of self. And what that looks like is I see myself a certain way and I'm trying to accomplish something better. However, because I see myself that way, all my actions are tied up in that vision of self. And so therefore, even though I want this thing that's better for me, I keep acting towards the vision of me that I already have. So, for example, if I see myself as overweight and unable to lose weight, then even though I set nice goals for myself that I want to eat healthy, that I want to focus on being healthier, and I want to lose weight, every time I think of myself in this negative way, then the answer becomes, but I'm not a healthy person, and therefore I do these actions. And the actions fall in line with how I see myself. I end up doing them more often than I would want to be doing them. So I'll eat things, if it's a weight goal, I'll eat things that I shouldn't be eating. Let's say it's about having good friends. If I see myself as a loser, then even when I'm invited out with these great friends that I want to be friends with, I won't go because I'm a loser and they're not going to want to have talk to me. They're not going to want to, I'm going to bring the whole story down. And so I say these things about me and then I act on them. Because I'm acting on them, I've already lost. And because I think I've already lost, I keep acting on them, and it's a vicious cycle that keeps going over and around and around and around. And the final one that I see very often, habit. I'm just so used to sitting at my desk and going in the drawer and pulling out some chips and eating those chips that I don't even realize that I'm doing it. I just kind of mindlessly take them and, maybe I've got a candy jar on the counter for the children, but every time I walk by, I'm grabbing some candy. Even when it comes to relationships, we can see this playing itself out because you might have fallen into the habit of doing certain things in the relationship, maybe doing things for your spouse, maybe doing things for your friends, and then realizing over time that, well, I'd rather that my spouse help me with these things, or I'd rather that my friends help me with these things. You might even take the steps of asking for their assistance. But then because you're so used to just doing it, when it's actually time to do it, you do it, right? And so there are a lot of the times where we just kind of get on autopilot and start doing stuff without realizing that being on autopilot is keeping us in a bad situation, because being on autopilot then turns into the situation where I'm not happy because I'm not attaining my goal, but I'm not attaining my goal because I keep automatically doing things without thinking that I've realized were not healthy for me to do. One of the things that I find really interesting when we're talking about solutions is that each of the 5 that I've just listed have one thing in common. That thread that's through them all is you're not focused on you. I know that doesn't seem obvious, but for example, if I'm living life in my comfort zone and basically dealing with the negative that I'm used to, the negative that I'm comfortable with, that's not about me. That's about status quo. That's about not changing anything in my life, right? That's about fear of the unknown. That's not about me, right? Because it doesn't put me first. When we're talking about I don't deserve, even that's not about you. Because if I'm thinking that I don't deserve better in life, that I don't deserve to be happy, that I don't deserve to be healthy, that I don't deserve good friends, that idea came from somewhere that wasn't about me. Oftentimes we're walking around with ideas that came from an old spouse, that came from poor upbringing, that came from things that happened in school, and we're carrying them forward in life, but actually they don't reflect who we actually are today. Because every single person on the planet deserves good health. Every single person on the planet deserves good friends, right? But if you've been taught that you don't deserve that, which is an external now, that's living in your head, you keep walking around and reacting to that external rather than focusing on what you know about yourself today. And what you know you want today. Because if I want something and I'm willing to work for it, guess what? I deserve it, right? As soon as I get it, I worked for it. I deserved it. The idea that I deserve a treat, I deserve a reward. Sure, that's still not about you. Who decides what the reward is? And the moment that you decide that the reward is something that's against your expressed goal, you didn't make that about you. You're looking at external. You're saying that what they tell me is a reward needs to be my reward. You know, if I'm trying to purchase a house and I've worked really hard to save a lot of money so that I can have a good down payment on this house, so that my payments monthly can be easy for me, guess what? The reward I get for all that work is having the house and smaller monthly payments so that the purchase of the house is easier for me. If I allow myself to decide what my reward is, then I stay on track and I stay on course because I'm thinking about Violet. I think misperceptions of self is obvious, that in those circumstances, it's not about me, right? Because I learned those perceptions of myself from somewhere. Again, we're not born believing that we're a loser. We're not born believing that we can't achieve, that we can't be healthy. These are things that we learn either from society or we learn from failure, but it's not an innate piece of who Violet is that this perception of self has to stay there. Part of what I do for a living is help people to change the way that they think about themselves and the way that they interact with themselves so that their life in the world can be better. So again, when we're doing this, the focus isn't on me. And the final one that I spoke about, the idea of habit, again, you're not focused on anything in that one. You're just autopilot doing stuff. And you're not actually thinking about how will this affect me afterwards. One of the places that I see this the most is women who take care of a family and a household and would love to have the children help them with more of the tasks in the house, would love to have their husband help them with more of the tasks in the house. But it has become the habit because when the children were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, even up to 5 or 6, they couldn't do these tasks. So habit taught you to just do it, right? And it was efficient for you to just do it. Even if your husband was there to help, he might not have been as swift at doing it as you were, and it just made the house run easier to do it that way. Does it mean that it's still towards the goal that you have today? And the answer is usually no, because by the time you clean up after the 12, 14-year-olds and your husband, you're tired and then you don't have energy to have fun with them, which is the point of having a family, to have fun with them. My point being, these are all things that we can change, right? But we need to be focused on ourselves. We need to be focused on our health. We need to be focused on our goals. What's interesting to me is that a lot of the time when these other processes kick in and take us off course, it's because when we're acting in our day, so when we're behaving, we're doing the thing that's easy, we're doing the thing that's fast, and we're doing the thing that's fun, rather than doing the thing that's going to help Violet to be happy with her life. That takes energy, that takes focus, and it takes work. The reason that most people don't do it is because it's hard to do in the beginning. It's not hard to do long term. Like everything else in life, once I've identified that this is actually the problem and then I start working on it, well, as I work on it, it gets easier and easier and easier to accomplish. Why? Because I want to accomplish it. I actually want to be healthier. I actually want my life to feel nicer. I want to have time for friends and time for family and time for myself. The thing that you need to do if you find yourself self-sabotaging is back up, take that goal, whatever the goal is, and place it in front of you. And help yourself by referring to that goal throughout your day. See, habits we don't have to refer to. That's why they're habits. They're automatic. Misperceptions about self we don't have to refer to. They kind of live in there in our heads, right? Forcing us to do things that are against us because that's what we think of ourselves. And that's harmful to you always. But by taking a goal that's against that idea, so I would like to have good friends, is counter to Violet, you're a loser. And by telling myself that I'd like to have good friends and then acting on it by going out and looking for people who I think are nice, right? And why would I look for nice people? One of the things that I try to help people to understand, when you decide that you're going to change something and you start problem solving it and you start writing down that list of, okay, these are the kind of friends I have right now. They don't help me in life. These are the kind of friends I would like to have. And you start listing those things out. 9 times out of 10, when I ask people in my office, well, why are those qualities the qualities you're looking for? They say because they're like that. I'm pointing this out because it's so important for you to understand something. If I ask you who the ideal person in your life would be and you start listing out qualities, you will list the best qualities of who you are. But however, when you're talking to yourself in your head, you're calling yourself a loser. And the truth is, most of my clients who see themselves as losers still believe that they have amazing qualities to share with the world. Because this is false. It's fake. And it didn't come from you. It came from some external something that happened that we need to let go of. So what happens when we put ourselves first, focus on solving for us? We put down bad behaviors. And it's interesting to me because there are a lot of bad behaviors that we do that we don't even know we can put down. And I say that because I think that there's some things that we do that we feel we have to do because it's the only way I can take care of me. And in actuality, it's not. Every time you find yourself doing something that makes you go, oh, nobody can know I'm doing this, whether it's eating things, or whether it's sexual behavior, or whether it's drug related, or whether it's money related, like maybe I'm doing illegal practices to get money. If you can't talk about those things, you need to start to question, then why is this the way that I'm trying to advance? And then you're going to realize you're actually sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging yourself because it doesn't add to your self-esteem. You're sabotaging yourself whenever things that you're doing don't help your confidence, don't help the worth of you, the value that you see in you. If you're doing behaviors that cause your self-worth to go down, you're sabotaging. And how do we correct that? By focusing on you. Engaging in behaviors that help you to feel successful. Engaging in behaviors that help you to feel connected with other people, engaging in behaviors that help you to feel healthy, engaging in behaviors that help you to feel like you had a fun day, that you liked the way your day looked. And what you're going to start to notice is that when you put yourself at the center of this story and really start looking at, well, what would help Violet to be happy in this situation? The answers become quite apparent. And then you do them. And then you succeed. Self-sabotage is about not focusing on you, focusing on external things, expecting internal positives. It doesn't work. We need to focus on what's coming from inside to get to what we're trying to get to, right? My goals start with me. What I mean by that is there's always a beginning, right? So since I'm the beginning of everything, it starts here. But then when I'm trying to solve, I have to take the idea and find, well, what's the beginning of this idea? So with health, it's food. With relationships, it's the people I choose. And with work, it's the work that I decide to do. It's the actions that I take at work. But you'll notice with all of these things, it's about what I'm doing. It's what food I'm deciding to eat. It's how I decide to engage these things. So prioritize you. Prioritize your health. Prioritize your mental health. Prioritize your physical health. Prioritize you. Do the things from a perspective of how does it help you to do what you're doing. Every time we try to put other people or other people's ideas before what we really want, we're sabotaging ourselves. I hope this video clarified what you need to do, what steps you need to take. And there's not that many. It's one step. Prioritize you. As I said in the last video, Violet never hurts Violet. Not purposefully anyway. Prioritize yourself and take the steps you need to take to live a happier, healthier life. If you haven't seen that previous video, I'll link it up there because I do think it'll help you understand why I'm making this video. Wellness Warriors, love that you guys come by and watch my videos. Everybody who's new, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss any opportunity to improve your health, because that's why I'm here, to help you improve your health. If you'd like to contribute to the production of some of these videos, Patreon, Amazon links in the description below. Love making these videos for you guys. I can't wait to talk to you in the next video.